All right, welcome to the January of 2023 Building and Planning meeting. We'll have our Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, and did everybody get their minutes? Did you look at them? Any corrections or anything? Anybody have any corrections? Looking for a motion to accept the minutes as reported.
I motion to accept the minutes.
A second.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Opposed? All right, motion carried. We're supposed to have Banning engineering here today, and that's not happened yet. To discuss what we want to do with the lot, where we're going to put a parking lot. So I'm not real sure. Has anybody thought anything about it?
Does that property line actually go past the fence?
No, that's
Now, Beacon isn't very accurate with their marks that they draw on there, so
no, it's
the property line is still, of course, when we progress through this, we probably need to have a formal survey just so we know where all the property lines really are.
right.
But, yeah, because the homeowner here said this bush that's sitting on this picture's in the town's property because they were complaining about how big it was and needed it trimmed. So we got that cut down already. Pete and I also already took the tree down, so that's out of the way.
So is that west end, is that correct? Or close?
Here?
This one, no.
No, because it's
Oh, that's the east end. The west end, I mean, the property line, there's two, on Beacon, there's two lots.
Oh, okay.
So this square represents the eastern lot and then the western. So altogether, that's 12,000 square feet. But so each square was on there this same dimensions.
about 6,000 square feet, yeah.
Right. So, and then Pete and I were walking around over there today. We've kind of thought keeping the entrance where the old entrance to the garage was, keep making this the entrance into the parking lot and the exit. So I didn't know if that.
Well, number one, that'll be easier because we won't have to deal with the state.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah. If you
that-
try to make the entrance,
Right, and then we've
Off
got to
of
go get
39.
the state, and we got to
Yeah.
get, that's a nightmare.
whereas if we're entering off of Michigan,
Right,
that's our
deal,
the town's
right.
property and town street, so
Right.
that kind of thing. So the but I mean, it's a pretty good size lot that you could, make 100 parking spaces, or like what we want, shorten that down a little bit and have a building with bathrooms in it. The sewer lateral starts right about here, or I think that's right about where it's marked. But so the sewer lateral's there. Of course, the old well got capped, so we would have to just put a new well in, and we can put it wherever we want near that, so I just figured the sewer lateral starts here, we could plan the building.
Where does it
in
run?
that.
Where does it run to?
The sewer lateral goes this direction.
Okay.
And then along the fence.
Along the fence?
And then it joins the sewer main over on Pennsylvania.
So as long as we stay maybe towards that, I mean, if we had to cut back and reconnect somewhere else to move it, it's not a big deal to catch the lateral.
Right.
Yeah, I didn't know if it was out on 39 or, where it could get into other issues.
Right. So as far as the plumbing goes and that kind of thing, and the power hookup that used to be for this property came off of this post, this pole.
That pole.
And so it came across there, but
You could
I
have
imagine,
bury it, and
yeah. you
any
could
new
do-
power you'd want to bury
Right,
anyway if you
so-
could.
we have power available along here and along this way. There's a buried phone cable that goes along here there's some red flags, orange flags that go along the side of the sidewalk. There is a slight grade, so it goes downhill this direction. So we would probably want to make sure that in the discussions of planning, that we have a way for that water to go someplace other than
Across,
like
yeah.
just straight into their yard and flooding their yard or something. I don't know that would be a huge concern with that, but trying to make sure that we divert water into our storm drain system at some point.
Is there a storm drain on that road?
On Michigan there is.
Is there? Okay.
Yeah,
So if we had to, we could open up and put a new
yeah, just connect.
put a new beehive in or something. Because that might be your better option, is to come into the parking lot and make the parking lot pitch to itself, you know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
And then put a beehive in so that it runs to that to your storm drain, and then reroute that. So you're not running it to the road before you catch the storm drain.
Gotcha, okay.
If we got one, that's why I didn't know how close we had one. I guess my thought on this, as far as putting the, a restroom and break area or whatever you want to call it in there, is putting it towards the 39 end for visibility. Yes.
Over this way?
Yeah, for visibility from a security standpoint, lighting, visibility. You put it towards the back of the lot, I think you're going to have more chance vandalism and other things.
Are we talking about paving this lot?
Yes, at some point, yeah. If we get 50 or 60 parking spaces, number one, even just simple town hall meetings, we could have someplace to park, walk across the street, not have to fight for parking. Not that we get overrun meetings, but, there are things that.
And I do notice at night that this is actually a fairly well lit intersection, so that's not a huge issue. There's a street light here, and then there's lights coming from across the street as well as the businesses.
Well, I'm figuring we'll light the building too as well, with some kind of
Right.
dusk to dawn lighting.
Now, light bleeding from our parking lot into their windows might be a concern. So if we wanted to plan like some sort of a natural, a planted barrier between the parking lot and their lots, my own personal thought was like we planted some either red buds or dogwoods would provide a little blockage of the lights that we're gonna see, but
Well, you can also set your lighting up to where it's more you know what I'm saying, you get a nice vertical downcast. With this new LED stuff, you can hit a pattern so light that you don't get much bleed on it like the old incandescents did, or the mercury vapors.
true.
When you say paving it at some point, what does that look like to you?
Well, I think we've got a deal here. I mean, we've got a lot of things to deal with. We've got grading issues and those kinds of things, but then paving's a substantial cost by the time you curb it and, those kinds of things. I guess from my personal opinion is I would like to see us get our designation of where we'd like to have the restroom facility at, and then figure out what the parking lot would look like from that. I almost would see the parking lot, this is a personal opinion only, the parking lot put in first before we get the restrooms in, just from a cost standpoint. We might do some underground work, bringing the lateral up to where we're gonna be, those kinds of things. But I mean, we're looking at asphalt paving for an actual parking, town park.
Well, my thought on it is if it's a thing of, you know, do the paving now and restroom later, we could take potentially the south edge of that, half it off, put the restroom facility right there on the corner, pave half of it, and leave the other half for future expansion.
Oh, yeah, you could, yeah.
That gives us 50 spots right now, and we still get the bathroom, and we get it paved.
No, I get it.
I don't know if we necessarily need 100 spots right now. I don't
Don't-
know. I mean,
don't-
I'm not saying
no.
we don't or we do. I don't know if, you know.
Yeah, I don't know that we necessarily need 100 spots either. I mean, I guess the thought is that, you know, maybe in sometime in the future that will, play out, you know, once the Vandalia Trail is there, people come in and park and
I mean,
buy.
we're hoping that we need them.
Right.
Right.
For
It's
sure.
just- Yeah, definitely, immediately, we don't need 100, but if we have the availability to put, you know, those in, and I like the idea of, you know, what you suggested is doing half of it and then planning the other part
No, I think
for
that's,
another expansion, with that part also, cause that could get us, you know,
help our
that
budgets,
initial-
yeah.
Here we got this rectangle paved, striped, ready to go for temporary basis. And then you just would add the other part as we get it.
Once the trail
Design
goes
it.
in and stuff, and we can put it in, you know, the other half in the budget, that way we can go ahead and get the bathroom in there without breaking the bank. My thought.
No, that's a good point. And it's just green space, it's done, just mow a little grass, it's not like it's any major maintenance issue.
On the other hand, we still have gravel on it, couldn't it?
Well, it could, yeah, you could do that, and
it'd
then,
still be used,
well,
it just
you could
won't
use
be
it as an
dry.
overflow area if you wanted to, sure.
Yeah.
And if it's gravel, it's considered permeable, it doesn't have near the,
We can make John park in the gravel.
That's right.
You better watch, he's probably listening.
that
He don't
was,
know how to keep all gone.
yeah, I was gonna say, he can't turn the computer on. But,
Does the town already have money set aside, or would you have to come up with?
We don't have it set aside already, we'd have to come up with it. So, I mean, there are lots of steps between now and when we would be ready to put paving down anyway, but yeah, that's definitely something that we have to consider and, you know, talk to Jenny about on where's some of this money gonna be able to come from and that kind of stuff, so.
Are there any grants that you, I mean, who knows? Or what if you threw in a couple electric charging stations? Would the federal government have grants they could throw in to help offset the cost of everything?
I don't know, that's a good question. I haven't
that would be,
found any
I mean,
grants for parking lots, but we could certainly continue looking for that. I know, Main Street America has grants for improving downtowns, and I don't know if this would fit into that.
qualify for that.
There was another grant that I did find on, a project thing for, it wasn't, Main Street America, it was another similar type of a thing, but again, the hard part about getting grants for Clayton is our median household income is so high that a lot of places look at us and go, your household income is, you know, significantly higher than the national average, so, but, it's not impossible, it's just harder.
So Banning comes in and they get together a plan to do this, is that what?
Yeah,
they're
from
supposed to be
and what the design person that was gonna be here tonight was going to just listen to all the ideas and then draw up something, mock up something and say, here's what, here's what, I got out of all your ideas, and, so here's what it would look like, here's what it would cost. And if we, you know, we could even throw that in on the two-stage kind of idea, which I hadn't thought about that before, so I'm glad you mentioned that, but, you know, put together that kind of a thing, and then they would present it back to us and say, did this meet everything that you guys wanted? And then if it would meet what our requests were, then we would in turn take that to the town council and say, here's what we've all agreed would be a nice plan. What do you guys think? And would you be able to fund this kind of thing? So.
I like it. I hadn't thought of a bathroom facility down there.
Well, with
I
the,
like that.
you know, with the trail coming through, we just thought that gives people an opportunity to, even, and as we develop a shopping district or just a downtown district, to have some place where people could,
Are they still talking about going through the park?
they are going to the park, yes.
So that bathroom would be available, but we'd also have a facility downtown?
Downtown.
Yeah. So if what we've discussed here fits with the trail, it goes into the park and then it comes down Michigan. And then this would be another, basically a stopping point along the trail. And then people could stop and visit, you know, the downtown shops. And then it would continue on and meet up with, that's their hope in the future, is for the Vandalia Trail to meet the Plainfield one and make it all the way to Putnam County.
That'd be a dream, that'd be pretty cool, I think.
Yeah, I think it'd be kind of cool to have that as, you know, the downtown Clayton stopping point along Vandalia Trail, but also, you know, people who want to travel here and visit all the downtown merchants and that kind of stuff.
Maybe some bike racks in there.
Yeah, that'd be an easy thing. Yeah, bolt some bike racks up somewhere so that people could park a bicycle, yeah.
It's interesting how different this looks from the air. This was November of 2022 when this picture was taken.
Let's say that's a fairly, yeah.
So. Anything else that anybody wants to throw out as ideas?
You was talking about those trees being planted, what, like the fence you put around your property. What's your idea on that?
I think the trees are much more aesthetically pleasing from a standpoint of, for that kind of situation. I mean, I think you could mix that, the red buds, I like the ideas. The deciduous trees, it's a problem, is you're gonna lose your leaves,
True.
so you lose your shading. So you've gotta blend that somewhat with maybe some evergreens of some kind, or some of these newer, they're a boxwood of some kind. They don't drop the leaf till spring before they rebud. It's an interesting deal.
Oh, okay.
So the leaf turns, but it doesn't drop it till spring when it rebuds. When the plant goes into a rebudding process for new leaves, then the leaves start falling off. So you don't ever really lose your shade effect that you're looking for. And they'll grow 7-8 foot tall to give you an easy screen.
So do you see this being open year round, or is that gonna close in the winter?
No,
get
I think,
winterized?
and I think you'd want it open year round. You know, as you develop functions, I mean, even here at the town hall meetings, you know, it makes great parking for the town hall.
No, I just meant the vacuum facilities.
Oh, I think, I don't know, we talked about year round.
I mean, I think these could stay open year round. I mean, I know we closed the ones at the park over the winter, but I think
You have to have some heat source.
Right,
We
yeah.
put these, like Rob said, closer to 39, so they're more visible, prevent, issues with vandalism or other things, and then, also visible to people driving by going, oh, I mean,
Well, if you make
check this out.
yeah, if the building's nice and you've got some kind of, almost like a map type system on the front, a little bit of a map system on the front, and welcome to Clayton, or Clayton, town of Clayton on it, just something to give a focal point to the front of it, and then it's restrooms and that kind of stuff. But I would like to see it open year round. We talked about the cost of, because it was astronomical, the stainless steel fixtures you need to do that, for to help cut the vandalism down, that kind of stuff. They're a lot more expensive than the porcelain fixtures, just from the manufacturer. So it's a significant input, but I think long term the durability is there, and yes, we'd have to have a little heat in it, and I don't know, you could possibly put time locks on them where they lock at 9 o'clock at night, and when the doors
Park set up.
huh, is it
Yeah.
is it lock at a certain,
Yeah.
we could put time,
I didn't know that.
yeah, we could put time locks on them so they lock at a certain point at night. That will cut down on your issues of vandalism or whatever, and
And those, just in case someone got locked inside, they could get out.
yeah, you can
Yeah,
go
you can
out of
always-
them. You can always go out. You just can't come back in. Yeah.
The exit for the door handle always works. It's coming back in.
But I think that would just be it'd just be a bonus to the area there. Just something that there's some maintenance issues, of course. You make sure they're clean and that kind of stuff. We have to work through that. No different than the park, but I don't know how often we clean the ones at the park. Or,
I mean, I think that seems like a worthwhile venture to, if you just gotta keep it clean.
yeah, that's
That's-
it.
The payoff, I think, would be good.
All right. Well, I can try to put these ideas in an email to the design person from Banning, and just see if they can still put something together, even though they weren't here. But
In worst case, if something happens, they want to come out. You and I can sit down and go through
Right.
everything, and I'll be
Well, they
glad to do that.
we can make them watch the video.
Here's 20 minutes of
Watch the video.
torture.
That's right.
Yeah, that's
Which part of their job would be to lay out the drainage. for them
right.
too, so
Right, they're going to find all those things and give us ideas of where that all.
They would even have to do the survey part too. So they would have to do the survey first, and then lay out their plan for drainage and how to, make sure that the sewage, the power, the water, all that would be, part of their plan. And then, how many spaces are we gonna get out of this? All that would be in their proposal, and then obviously the cost as well.
Is there a cost to us to get a proposal on it? Do they charge us? for-
They, when I talked to them about this, what they said was that they would probably include that proposal cost in the finished product. So yes, they're gonna charge us for the proposal if they're the ones that end up getting awarded the chance to do the work.
We're not scratching a check to get it. That would
Right,
be-
we're not writing them a check beforehand to get the proposal part. But they said in the end product, there will be a part of that cost that covers the proposal part as well. The time that they spent doing the survey, doing the drawings and all that,
Fair, yeah.
yeah.
But the nice thing is, when we go forward with this, we can maybe have even break down some of this. We've got some dirt work that has to be done. They're going to give us that. That might be something you eat in 1 year. You know what I'm saying? If you're budgeting this out over a couple years, you do your infrastructure work 1 year or one part of the year before you get more monies in, just to help break it down. because we obviously are gonna have some infrastructure deals to deal with. But you may have some grade work that has to be done, and, you know, if you're building a parking lot, grade and settling and those kinds of things are, because that ground hasn't, most of that ground hadn't been disturbed till we tore the house down.
Right.
So you start disturbing that, and now you've got some settling issues you may have to deal with, and
Definitely.
So if you're gonna do half of it at a time, would you do from east to west on the south end first?
That's what I would do.
yeah, I think that would make
But
sense.
you gotta have the entrance paved.
Yeah.
Right.
I'd put the restroom where he's suggesting in the corner, and then pave it on out from there, and then next time,
Yeah.
do the north side of
Yeah.
it.
So we're saying John's gonna park on the north end.
Yeah, that's it.
Well, we'll leave a path for mud, actually, would be better than gravel. We don't, gravel's too expensive.
About 6 foot, no gravel, just enough to make him walk through the mud. Don't grass it or nothing. Make sure the water drains there. Oh my goodness, that's funny.
Not even here. Almost makes it more fun. He's down volunteering.
He wouldn't care. He'd probably tell you he's gonna put his mud boots on. He didn't.
Yeah, that'll be pretty cool.
Yeah, you get 25 or 30 spaces in this, you know, on this edge of town. That's gonna make a big difference. Just for anything we do down here. And then as we go forward, you know, we talked about festivals and stuff like that. It gives people place to park as we conduct those things. And they're not parking in people's yards. We're not having them park at the school and walk all the way down.
Yeah, and I mean, we had a few farmers markets this last summer, so.
That would be a great
having
place to have a
some
farmer's.
parking spaces for people, then they walk to the farmers markets there.
Yeah, it'd be a great place for parking for that. And,
Yep.
and even overflow if it grows. I mean, I love these farmers markets. I'd love to see them grow. You know, gives you some growth room if you need it, you know.
The church lets you park in that gravel area too. Most people I don't think know that.
Yeah.
Except for Sunday, of
That's the only
course,
day they
but
don't.
their sign even says that. It's a pretty worn sign, but.
Yeah, it's just, I think the visibility of the parking will make a difference for a lot of things. I do. I think that being able to see a parking lot, I think will help.
Very good. All right, I will send an email to that design person from Bannon and say, you know, here are the points that we came up with that we want. I'll include this aerial picture for them so they can kind of get a glimpse of it. But
Any thought to widening the sidewalk on Michigan in front of that as part of that?
I mean, it can be. That sidewalk is fairly new. That
Oh, is it?
Sidewalk.
Okay.
Because when Michigan got repaved, they redid that
Okay.
section in 2017, maybe.
Oh, okay. I
So
didn't
it's
realize.
not that old.
Okay, then that's not.
But
I just thought that, you know,
Cut where that drive is, or is it just covered in dirt?
I think it's just covered.
oh yeah, it's just covered in dirt. It's underneath there. So
Yeah.
and then this one, they actually did they did the sidewalk, and then with this family, that not the person that lives there now, but the previous owner, they paved, they put asphalt down over the top of it into their driveway,
Oh, wow.
which is, I mean, you know. All right. So, speaking of engineers being in town, I saw the American Structure Point vehicle in town 3 different times today driving around. So they're already kind of
Scoping things out.
checking out the ins and outs of the collector streets and the town and stuff. So Next Thursday at our town council meeting, we'll address the contract between the town and American Construction Point. They won't do anything official until we have that
Sure.
contract. But then, after that, the comprehensive plan process can start moving forward.
Okay. Anybody else got anything on this?
I guess we were supposed to address officers
Officers
for the
tonight.
next year. I don't
Yeah.
know if that's still something that you wanna try to do. Or
Well, I mean, there's only really, well, I guess there's 5 of us. I'm really surprised Nicholas isn't here. I don't have a problem with trying to address it. I don't know how well we can address it with everybody here.
Cause, yeah,
You see, if you're not here, you're on the board.
Well, yeah, you can, yeah, yeah.
That's right.
All in favor, say aye, yeah, yeah. Yeah,
Nick and Leanne are missing, so they get to be chair and vice chair.
well, I talked to Nicholas about taking chair if he would, cause I'm trying to phase down a little bit, on some things. But I don't know, what's everybody's opinion? You wanna do it this meeting? You wanna try to hold off on one more meeting
I would think we could table it
till
everybody's
February? And we'll try to make a bigger point to get everybody here so we can have a discussion about that, cause we need to do the same thing for the planning commission too. Or I mean, BZA. I mean, and we only have a quorum for that today, so. All right. Anybody else got anything else? Well, I think we had a good meeting. Too bad our engineer didn't show up, but a lot of good ideas. I thank you all for coming, and we'll call the meeting adjourned.
Alright.
Oh, we had,
Do you know when the guy who's doing the liquor store is moving in?
I don't know that he, is
I
he,
watched the clock for the last hour and a half that I've been there since this morning, and I lost track of time, that we're packing stuff up and trying to take it down, all the Christmas down and everything. And I looked up and I'm like, oh my gosh, it's 6:07. I gotta get to the meeting, but
Hit the end stream first.
oh, in stream, sorry.
So hit cancel.
So who's moving in there?
I don't.
And then hit
Jeff,
it in
but-
stream.